What's going on, everyone? I need to just reach out probably to Brother Ruben. I don't know if he is here yet. I'm not sure. Let me just kind of let's see. Sight sounds. Jesus is back. Okay, that's something else. Give me a second. Oh, you're here. Okay, yeah. Never mind. So then the link will be in the description. It should say link for Brother Ruben, and that's the one to join. Give me just yeah. Take your time. I just started, so it's like it's not that big of a deal right now. So we can just wait. Just want to say really quickly, sorry for people listening in my channel, like to watch. Sorry for somewhat slow posting. I recently changed to computer to edit my videos, and I was struggling to figure it out. My last video, I just edited with it, and it was like a complete struggle, and it was kind of stressful, to be honest, to edit. And on top of that, it was from a discussion that was already stressing me out because of the engagement I was getting. So I'm only doing it because my phone storage is very limited, and the computer I don't really save much on there, so I might as well use that so I can put things there, and then I delete them afterwards. So yeah, and then it'll stay on YouTube. So if you're wondering why my posting slows down, that's why. It's just that I switched to computer for editing, and it's a lot more of a tedious process, but just to keep the channel going and try to post my best content, I think it's the best decision to do. It's a bit of a sacrifice, but hey, you got to do what you got to do. And actually, let me check my playlist really quick. I think I'm closing in on 9 informal discussions now. I think this is gonna be my 9th one. Where is it? Discussions. Where is it? Pause this. I don't want to hear the audio. I just want to. Yeah, this will be my 9th discussion. So you're great. And there he is.
Right.
It's loading. Oh, there you are. There we go.
How you trash bag, hold it up to help with the flies.
Hello. It's John, right?
Yes. You remember my name. That's good.
Yeah.
How's everything doing?
Well, to be honest with you, as long as we are in Messiah, everything's good, right? We got to be content no matter what situation we're in, whether we're rich or poor, we're hungry or we're full. So everything in him is good, but things are not good for this world and the state it's in right now. So I'm just really excited, John, about the Messiah coming back.
I see. Yeah.
Can you give me just a second?
Yeah, sure. Oh, I'll mute him for now. I don't know if he wants the background noise to be heard. Hello, anyone that's tuning in. We'll just have him just waiting a little bit. Oh, wait, he's back. Hold on. I think no. Yeah. Just be patient. I know he's got a life, so I can't like make him be. The heck do I do here? Edit name and headline. Edit mic settings. Oh, okay. So yeah, I'm gonna give him a little bit because he's got a life. I can't be forcing him to be quick. So I will wait for him. I can always edit it. Yes, he does claim that. I think he says he's a Hebrew Israelite, which I'm a little confused because I don't know if he's I don't know how to word this, like racially speaking. I don't know if he qualifies for that, but that's another subject we can explore another time. Because I know specifically, if I'm not mistaken, the Hebrew Israelites qualify specifically the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans as the true Israelites today. I don't know if he falls under those categories, so that's it's another subject maybe.
Okay. All right, John, I'm here, bud.
All right. So,
I'm ready, man. I had to get some. Go ahead.
Yeah, you know the topic we were discussing, or do you need me to kind of explain what the?
No. I think I understand. Right. You want to discuss the Hebrew Tanakh, which is the Torah,
Well,
the Nephim, and the Ketuvim, which is the instructions, the prophets, and the writings in Hebrew or Aramaic, because some of Daniel was written in Aramaic,
right.
and then the New Testament and Greek New Testament, or if there's Hebrew, or if there's Aramaic translations of the New Testament, correct?
That's basically it. We agree on the Old Testament. I agree that it's in Hebrew and partially in Aramaic. The New Testament is where we're gonna have disagreements. So, I was curious because I know you said that there were Hebrew manuscripts that I believe you said were, correct me if I'm wrong, I think you said revealed by Vatican or something. But I was hoping we can discuss that and maybe other things along that subject. So I don't know if you want to begin by presenting things you've found or.
Okay. So I'm just like everybody else, right?
Mhm.
There's potentially a 10% of the world's population who are rich enough to have access to ancient manuscripts, just tons of books, big, and some really, really neat books. I'm not rich, so I don't have access to scripts, old books. I've a little bit of a library, but very, very small. So through the trust of others who are in the same life that I am, I've come to learn through that there are Hebrew writings
Your voice is cutting
of.
out a little bit. It's like going on and off.
Okay, give me just a second, okay? Give me just a second. I got you.
Right.
Give me just a second. I'm gonna get closer to my Wi-Fi.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Is that a little better there?
I think it is, yeah. If anything goes wrong, I'll just let you know. But go ahead. What were you saying that you've yeah, just go ahead.
Through men that I trust online, and through a little bit of fellowship, with men of the way, they have shown me and revealed to me that there are ancient Hebrew manuscripts of the New Testament. One of those ancient writings come from the Nazarenes. And we all know in the New Testament, Yeshua, the Messiah, which means salvation, the anointed one in Hebrew. Yeshua is Aramaic for salvation. That he, what was I saying? We all know that, hold on, I lost my train of thought. I was saying that there's been, the Nazarenes, that's what it was. I'm sorry about that. The Nazarenes have or had Hebrew translations of the New Testament. And these were passed down through the Vatican, because I believe that the Vatican and Rome, during the time of the Crusades, that they confiscated. We all know that Rome was in power during the time of Yeshua and after he left. So Rome, I believe, confiscated a lot of ancient artifacts. And we know that Islam, during their first and second jihad, that they went into Egypt and destroyed the biggest and most ancient library that's ever existed. And they destroyed it if it did not line up with their doctrine. So we can conclude that those who are in power in this world today, they are the ones with the power and they dictate history. So I don't have a copy of the Hebrew in the Gospels, for the Gospels. Now I have had a download of the English from the Hebrew of the Gospel of Mark. I had that at one time, downloaded on my phone. But here's my stance. I agree with John the Truth, and you've listened to him and you've critiqued some of his things. I agree with John the Truth that the disciples were Hebrews. The disciples were of Judah, most of them, some from other tribes. But I truly believe that they were fluent in Hebrew, and they spoke Hebrew to their brothers and sisters. And that doesn't mean that they didn't know Greek. That doesn't mean that we shouldn't have translated it necessarily into Greek. It's just that, like John pointed out, these men obeyed the commandments. And the commandments teach us that we should understand certain Hebrew words to get a better understanding of those ancient writings and the culture and the heritage and the ways of our brothers and sisters of Israel, our forefathers. So I didn't have a whole lot of time to prepare for this. But I can only give you what I've got, and I'll give you what I've got. And, I'm curious as to where this is going to go from here. So I'll digress.
Okay. So you mentioned the heck is happening? Hold on a second. Give me a second. This light is flickering. Oh. Actually, let me do this. Let me turn this off. This one, my camera's off anyway. Okay, sorry about that. That light was flickering. I didn't like the sound of it, but anyway. So I think you mentioned Hebrew Gospel of the Nazarenes or something along those lines. I'm looking it up right now, and it seems to be like this is like the first information I'm getting, so I'm not gonna say that this is definitely the case. However, what it seems like is that this is a actually. Let me share my screen. That might make it easier. It seems like it is a potential, not a found, but a potential. Oh, wrong thing. Hold on. A potential version of Matthew in Hebrew. And then I share a screen. There's a few sources that I'm getting. I don't know if this is what you're referring to. This is what I'm finding. This is AI. I don't really care about the AI, but Gospel of Nazareans. I don't know if that's the same. Where is it? This one. I think this one is giving me something similar. I generally trust this site. The Gospel of Hebrews is an ancient, now lost work that apparently contains stories about the birth, life, and death and resurrection of Jesus Christ. Several of the early church fathers briefly quoted the Gospel of Hebrews, but we do not have any copies of the book itself. So I don't know if this is entirely known as to what exactly it is. It seems to be that there's a bit of a division on what it is, that it could be a Hebrew version of Matthew. And I do know that there's some of the early church theologians were pointing to a version of Matthew that's in Hebrew. So, I mean, I don't think that's entirely impossible, or that it's a lost version of the Gospels that were in Hebrew. It's not entirely known what it is. I don't know if it fits, however, the position that John Truth is arguing, or I can say Yehunathan, because I think that's how he wants to be referred to as now. I don't know if that fits with the position that this is the original version of the Gospels, and then the Greek came later as a translation of it.
So
go ahead.
So I just wanted to share my goal of today. My goal of today is just to establish that our brothers, the apostles and the disciples, were Hebrews, and they had very strict instructions to not focus on the Greeks, but to go to the Jew first, to go to the Israelite first. So with that being said, it is my understanding that the entire New Testament was going to be written in Hebrew or Aramaic by those Hebrew and Aramaic men that Yeshua chose to bring forth the gospel to Hebrews, to Israelites, and then to the Greek later. But he specifically told them, the 12, to go to the children of Israel. So, with that being said, the whole Greek thing come later and is understandable to reach the Greek because the gospel is for the Hebrew and the Greek. It's just that I am going to choose to read the New Testament with a Hebrew mindset and not a Greek mindset. I'm going to go into it and translate it or decode it or read it and examine it through the eyes of those men and my forefathers and the prophets and their understanding, because it's all one thread. There's not two or three different types of threads when it comes to the Bible itself. And I will say this, and I'll digress, that I have a scripture of Yeshua speaking to Paul from heaven in Hebrew. And I think that's huge. I think that's huge, and it complements what I'm trying to share. I digress.
Okay. So I think I don't think my goal in this discussion is like to win or anything, because I'm gonna be honest. I think we both don't have much access to many like ancient manuscripts, as you said. I can look up stuff online, but I don't have like a physical Codex Sinaiticus or early papyrus. Like I don't have that. So my goal here is also kind of like you to learn to present what we have. You mentioned going to the Jew first. I just want to kind of clarify what you mean by that. Are you saying that because the Bible teaches this, going to the Jew first, that it started in Hebrew and then got translated into Greek? Because I don't think that's what the scripture means by that. It presents that in a way where the gospel would it would be preached first to the Jews, but then the Greeks would receive also the gospel. And we can go to Acts chapter 13 to see that if you want. I just want to clarify what you meant by that.
Well, there's a scripture where a woman is at the feet of Yeshua and they're at a table and she's and I'm not trying to butcher this, okay? So I'm just trying to paraphrase. But she wanted healing, or she wanted something from Yeshua, the master. And he said that this is for Israel, that I have only come for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And the woman said, well, even the dogs get the crumbs from the table. So, you know, you had mentioned right when I was getting ready and I'd overheard you and what you were saying about how there are many camps and there are many black melanated brothers and Indians who believe that they are the true children of Israel.
I was
Well,
answering a comment that was asking something, but go ahead.
Okay, but so I do believe that. I do believe that the blacks of America, most of them, not all of them, but most of them are of the tribe of Judah. And I also believe that the Native Americans who were here first and the Spaniards or the Mexicans, that a lot of them are of the true bloodline of Israel. And Reuben, Simeon, Levi. I think Levi is the Limbu tribe in Africa. They've traced their DNA back to Levi and Aaron and Moses and whatnot. The Limbu tribe is actually the tribe of Levi. Now I don't know if that's true or not. That's just what I've researched and whatever. But just to try to kind of answer your question real quick, is that I do believe that the disciples were sent to the children of Israel first and then to the Greek, because we have to realize that the olive tree, which is symbolic of Israel, that that tree is established. They've always been Israel. There always will be an Israel. The children, a covenant people, a remnant. There's always going to be a remnant. You know what I mean? So that tree's already established. And that was his goal. That was the Messiah's goal, was to gather those children of the bloodline and invite them, right? Invite them. We know about the wedding invitation, right? The marriage invitation. Give me just a second, and I'll let you speak. Okay, give me just a second, John.
Okay.
One of the main my friend invited me to go to the big.
He's gonna come pick you up or what?
He's at McDonald's right now.
It's right there by the fridge in that glass jar. Okay, John. Sorry about that, man. I've got children, and I've got a wife, and I've got stuff going on, so I don't mean to keep you guys hold up any longer than necessary. So
Yeah, I understand. So the story that the Gentile woman showing her faith from Matthew 15 and Mark 7, I understand that. I understand the doctrine of, yes, the gospel goes first to the Hebrews, then it goes to the Gentiles. The issue I'm having is I don't know if that necessitates that therefore the gospels had to be the heck. Oh, that's my mom. I'm sorry. Okay. Um, I don't know if that necessitates that they need to be written in Hebrew first and then in Greek, but I think I want to move past this point because you mentioned some of the commandments, and I think you're alluding to something Jean Truth mentioned in his video. Do you want to cover that? Because I think that's also relevant to the discussion.
sure,
Uh,
sure, yeah. Did you want me to expound a little bit?
yeah, I can pull up the verses if you mentioned them right here.
Okay. So one thing, and this is probably the most important thing, okay? This is probably the most important thing when it comes to this, and that is the name of the Creator. And the name of the Creator was revealed to us, to Israel, and to the entire world in Hebrew. And we do have pictograph Hebrew of the name of the Creator. And there's a research team that went out to the Red Sea, or the Sea of Reeds, whichever you want to call it, where the Israelites crossed from, was it Ramses or Sukkot? Somewhere in there, one of those campsites. They crossed from there, the Red Sea, into the Middle East, right, to escape Pharaoh and Egypt.
Hmm.
And there is a pillar there. There is a pillar there that his name was inscribed on. There's also ancient manuscripts that have been found with the Creator's name in them. Do you know about the Dead Sea Scrolls?
Yeah, I actually have an English version of them right here in my bookshelf.
So Isaiah, the scroll of Isaiah was found in the Dead Sea Scrolls.
Mhm.
And Isaiah was complete. They had a complete version of the scroll of Isaiah, which is amazing. So therefore, that gives extreme clout, I think, for the prophet Isaiah and what he wrote. Okay, so that's where I'll begin is with that, and then if you want to comment off of that, of just what I've shared, then feel free. But in closing, for this section anyway, the name of the Creator of heaven and earth was given to us in Hebrew, and ancient Hebrew, because there's like 4 different stages of Hebrew, and I don't know if you knew that or not, but there's the pictograph, which is the original. Then there's the Babylonian, and then there's one more, and then there's the modern. I forgot all 4, but I believe there's 4. And they do have ancient manuscripts in pictograph and Babylonian script in Hebrew. So I'll digress with, to preserve that from the Torah, the first 5, Yah wrote with the help of Moses, down through the centuries, we've always had a remnant. Daniel wrote in Aramaic. Aramaic is a sister language to Hebrew. It's Semitic. And I truly believe and hold to that the Hebrew is a sacred language. I digress.
Okay. So I'm a little confused because I think I understand what you were saying, but I don't know if this is relevant to the question I was asking. Do you want me to explain what I was asking specifically? Because I don't know if you understood it. Maybe I wasn't clear, so that might be on me.
So I think I did understand the question. What you're basically trying to get shown to you is why do the commandments have anything to do with the language of Hebrew, and why would the disciples carry that through into the first, second, and third centuries, fourth centuries, right? So
Right.
so what I'm trying to get at is that they would not want to break the commandments. So they would do everything that they could to keep the commandments. It says that Joseph and Miriam were blameless in the sight of Yah. So if that's the case, then the only way that that could happen logically is they would read the Old Testament. They would read the Old Testament in Hebrew to carry on their heritage. The Hebrew language would be like a it would be like a heritage, like a gift. You know what I mean? So this is my thoughts, and this is the way I would look at it too, is that if my forefathers were speaking Hebrew to me, then I would do everything that I could to understand what they were trying to say. And the only way that that would be possible is in the Hebrew language. Because when you translate from Hebrew into another language, you're always going to lose. And everybody knows that when you translate a language, you lose the value and the meaning of the word. So in order to uphold the Creator and who He is with His name, because in the Hebrew culture, names are everything. Everything. Names have value, they have meaning, they have morals, they have character, they have value, they have a stamp of authority. You know, they hold weight, a lot of weight. But if you translate that into another language, you lose that. So does that make sense?
Okay. I think I understand that, what you're saying, that they're trying to hold on to what the fathers of the faith said back then, which was in Hebrew. So if they translated it, they would lose some of the meaning, which I understand that happens with Greek as well. You can lose some of the meaning in English. But the issue I'm having with that is in the New Testament itself. With actually, let me give you an example so you can see what I mean. Three. So the New Testament itself translates Hebrew phrases and Hebrew words. So for example, Matthew 1:23 quotes Isaiah 1:14, behold, the virgin shall be with child and bear a son, and they shall call his name Emmanuel. Then he says, which is translated, God with us. So what it seems to be is they tried to hold on to the Hebrew and what they said in the past. But what I'm seeing there is they didn't seem to have a problem with translating it as long as they continued to communicate the thought that was being communicated in the specific times in the Old Testament.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. So for example, the name of the Messiah, right? I believe it to be closer to Yeshua or Yahusha, or even Yahweh Shai, something along those lines. I'm not a sacred namer, you know what I mean? I'm not declaring, without a shadow of a doubt that the creator's name is Yahuwah or Yahweh, or Yahovah, you know, or that the Messiah's name is Yeshua, or it is Yahusha, or it is Yahweh Shai. I'm not a sacred namer. So just something close to that, but it went from Yeshua or Yahusha to Jesus or to Iesus, right? But if you do the research on those two names, which one is Greek and one is Latin, I believe, which is basically the same thing, that you will lose the translation of salvation in the original language. I think Hebrew was the original language. I think that the creator of heaven and earth spoke the worlds into existence in the Hebrew language. And to back that up is that scripture that I'd referenced in Acts, where it says that Yeshua spoke to Paul from heaven in Hebrew. He was a Benjamite. So his family, they knew Hebrew. All the lineage of Benjamin knew Hebrew. So yeah. So I kind of ramble a little bit. I'm
Yeah, that's
trying to
fine.
answer you. I'm trying to answer your questions, but then, I want to add a little bit more of an understanding of what I'm trying to say.
You mentioned something. I'm trying to remember what you said about. Man, I lost it. I wanted to mention something relevant. Oh, that's right. The name Jesus. Right. And it. So I would agree that originally, I don't think anyone was saying Jesus in the first century. I don't hold to that. I know it's a lot of times people use that as an argument, but that's not what I believe, because obviously they're not speaking English back then. They may have used Jesus at certain points if they're speaking with a non-Hebrew, but I would agree for the most part, Yeshua, the Hebrew form of the name or the Aramaic form, would be used. So, however, in the modern context, I still don't think there's a problem with saying Jesus, and I hope we don't change this into a name. We can talk about that another time. I just don't want to shift that topic completely. I know it's relevant, but I don't want to shift topic completely. But I don't think there's a problem with using it today, because today we can still explain what the name means because we have access to information. So today we can say Jesus, which in Hebrew is Yeshua, which means Yah's salvation. I think we can do that, and there won't be much problem because people get the memo and they understand that that's where the name Jesus comes from.
Yeah.
You're mentioning something in Acts. Can we try to turn to it? I'm checking in. Is it Acts 9 or is it somewhere else? Because that sounds very interesting, and I really want to look at that.
About Yeshua speaking to Paul in Hebrew.
Yes.
Yeah, give me just a second. Let me get my other Bible here.
Okay.
So I want to say, while I'm finding it, John, that another one of my goals is that you would repent and that you would stop listening to Christian theologians or the Christian forefathers, and that you would take a break from that and just do your own research and compare the Christian theologians with the Hebrew theologians, which I think is what you're doing. It's just, I feel like that the more you listen to Christians and theologians and the church fathers, it's not going to do you any good, because you've still got
Are you there? You froze. Hello? Brother Ruben? Oh, there you are. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm still here. Can you hear me?
Okay, yeah, you froze for about 5 seconds. Can you just repeat like those last few things you said?
Yeah, I was just saying that, John, I think you.
Oh, goodness. Froze again. I'll just wait. I don't know what the heck is happening. I don't know if it's me or him. It's like completely. I don't know if he even hears me right now. He might not hear me. And he disappeared. Oh gosh. He disappeared, man. No. No. Okay. Let me put the Dead Sea Scrolls back in the bookshelf. I don't know why I took them down. I didn't even use them here. I'll wait for him to come back. We might not make this go on too much longer because I don't know if he's going to be able to keep it running smoothly. I kind of want to address that last thing he says. I kind of want to mention it, talk about it, because people kind of say that. Well, something along the lines of what he says. He said it a lot more differently than what other people say. So I respect that because a lot of people just kind of assume I don't do any research to begin with. So I think he worded it a lot better than other people. But we'll see if he comes back. I don't know what the heck happened. Let me see. Hold on. Oh, there. Never mind. I'm gonna try to add him to stage. I don't know if it's gonna work. Are you there? Testing 1 2.
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, I think I understood what you were saying. I just want to address it really quickly. I know you did not mean any disrespect, and I appreciate the way you worded it because a lot of people say something similar, but they word it in a way that I find disrespectful. So I appreciate that you were trying to word it differently. And I want to say that I don't only listen to Christian theologians or church fathers. I like to listen to people I disagree with because I think it challenges me. And sometimes when I listen to people I disagree with, I change slightly my position. For example, sometimes I listen to Unitarians and I change the way I argue with Unitarians because I hear a point they bring up, and I think, yes, I think I should switch the way I argue that. So I do listen, not as often right now because I'm kind of dealing with Islam more at the moment, but I do listen to some of the Hebrew roots, people like John Truth, or I haven't listened to him in a while, but Truth Unedited. I have listened to them. It's just I haven't really heard many arguments they've made that have made me change any kind of position. The closest one would be the response they give in the word Christian in the Bible. I slightly altered my argument there because I realized my argument was a little too, I stretched it a little too much. So just to answer you there, I do listen to people on sort of your side of the debate. It's not like I'm just a Christian brainwashed. Oh yeah, the Christian scholars. Like I listen to people that also disagree with me. Did you find the verse in Acts? Because I'm
I
really
did.
curious. Where is it?
26.
26. Okay. I think this is. Hold on a second. Ah, okay. There we go. Verse 14. I see. And when he had fallen to the ground, I heard a voice speaking to me and saying in the Hebrew language. So that's interesting. So I think I understand why that would be. Obviously, Paul spoke Hebrew. He's a Hebrew, so that would make sense.
Let me.
What was I going to
Can
say?
I? Can I? Can I say this real quick while you
Yeah, go
gather your
ahead.
thoughts?
Yes.
So So I want to say this, and I hope that nobody takes this the wrong way, okay? But this is just my understanding of what the New Testament is trying to teach us. And it's actually called the Renewed Covenant or the Brit Hadashah, which is the Renewed Covenant in Hebrew. That's the proper understanding that we can get. We can get a better understanding of the New Testament if we call it the Renewed Covenant, because it's not a new covenant. It's actually a renewed covenant. And the covenant that Yah made with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob and King David, that he passed down through the lineage of Judah, and the promises that he made to our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and King David, that covenant is still valid. It's still valid with the children of Israel. So to all you Gentiles out there who, I don't know emphatically if you are a Gentile. I don't know for a fact that, your whole family was, practicing Baal worship, or, was worshiping other gods that's not the one true God of heaven and earth. So to me, the renewed covenant is teaching us that it was all about the children of Yasharel, the children of Israel. It was all about the children of Israel and gathering them. And he went to the Gentiles to make the Israelites jealous. So the Gentiles are a part of this. They are grafted in. They are welcomed into the home, and they can have a position of a son, especially if one of the sons is rebellious or committing apostasy, or whatever. But I want to stress that they were sent to the lost sheep of Israel. And it literally says, and I don't know what verse it is, but it literally says that you will not be able to go to all of them before I return. So it just shows us that there's a lot of work that still needs to be done to gather the children of Israel, the true children of Israel. So yeah, I just wanted to stress that this is for the Israelite. This is for the tribe of Judah, the tribe of Benjamin, the tribe of Reuben, the tribe of Simeon, and so on and so forth, that it was to them first, and the Gentiles were coming in. Because we can look at Acts 15, where Yaakov, which is Yeshua's brother, he was made an elder of the assembly, and they had a meeting about Gentiles coming in. And Acts 15 breaks that down of what was expected of the Gentiles who were coming in as like bystanders and believers. They were coming in, they were believing. So anyways, I digress.
Let me go back to Acts really quick. So I'm just curious, do you think that this verse here in Acts, do you think that it indicates in any way that potentially the New Testament was originally in Hebrew, or did you just mention it for other reasons? Because it's an interesting verse, but I don't know if it indicates that the.
So, John, I really don't care if it was originally written in Hebrew or not. I'm still going to do everything I can to translate the New Testament, the renewed covenant, in Hebrew the best I can. Like, for example, that word Hebrew, for example, Acts 26, verse 14, that word Hebrew, it's there. You see it written right there, Hebrew.
Right.
So how do I know what that word means? How do I know? Well, I go back to the Old Testament. I go back to the Tanakh, right? and I find out that the word Hebrew is every. Proper pronunciation of the word Hebrew is every or Ebri. Some brothers say Ebri and some brothers say every. But that word Hebrew means to cross over. If you go look it up in the Strong's Concordance, I do believe that word Ebri or Hebrew means to cross over. So that's just one example. Or let's say we go over to the book of Matthew and we find the word grace. We can go back to the Tanakh and find that word grace, and it's chesed, and it's unmerited favor. So no matter what, even if it wasn't translated or even if it wasn't originally written in Hebrew, as a student of the scriptures, I'm going to translate it into Hebrew. Like, I don't say the word Jesus. I read an ESV. I like that translation. But anytime it says the word or has the word Jesus, I cover it up. I use the word Yeshua. Or I'm making sense, right?
Right. Okay. And by the way, I did forget to change the version of Bible Gateway to ESV, so sorry about that. But I don't think it affected our discussion too much. But I'll tell you what.
No.
I think it's good to end the conversation here because I think we reached a point of agreement. I don't know if we're gonna ever have another discussion, but since we kind of gotten this point, if we ever have another discussion, would you like to talk about the topic of names? Because I know that's one that gets brought up a lot. The issue of names, like the name of the Most High and the name of the Messiah. I think your view is a little bit different than other people I've seen. A lot less strict, but I think it could be a good conversation because I've been dying to talk about that with somebody. And unfortunately, not many people from this group have been willing to talk to me. So you're the first one. So if we want to talk again, would you like to talk about that subject, the issue of names?
Yeah, I would. And I'll try to do some more research and studying and stuff on that, and try to get a little more prepared for that because ultimately the discussion on the name is going to bring us into the doctrine of the Trinity versus oneness.
Okay. All right.
So yeah.
All right. I don't know if I will be able to this week, but I'll try to reach out to you when I think I'll have time to be available, and then you let me know. I know you seem to be a busy man, so I don't want to.
Yeah. So when you drop those little messages, it brings it up on my news feed, and I'm able to respond then. So if you can just give me a day in advance of when you're ready, or you can comment on one of my videos as well, that works as well. So yeah, just let me know whenever you're ready.
Do you know if an email will work? Or
yeah, you want to email me?
Yeah, can you put it in the private chat?
I sure can. I'll do that right now.
Okay, let's see if I can highlight this. No, I can't. Okay, hold on. Give me one. Oh, actually, no, my phone's right here. I can just take a picture. Okay, I think that'll be a little bit easier for me than comments because the notifications aren't always immediate. So I think that will work easier if I can email you like a day or two in advance. So and we can talk faster there instead of like, oh, comment. It's slower. So
right.
All right, I'll let you go now. I think it was a pretty fruitful conversation.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man. Appreciate you letting me get on here, man, and share and praise Yah, and Kwam Yasharallah.
All right.
That means arise Israel.
Oh, okay. All right. So, for anyone in the live chat, I'm going to end the live stream now. This is the end of the discussion. Actually, where's the banner? Where's the banner? There it is. There it is. Okay. Thank you all for tuning in. I'm heading out now. Brother Ruben is probably going to head out. So we thank you all for
Yep.
watching. God bless you all and goodbye.
Yeah. Till next time.
Till next time.